Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
Here we go. Hey, we are live. Welcome to Levels. We are live from Gorilla Cross Studios in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. I'm Cassandra Cousineau, your girl, the Sports Nisa. While Jeremy is away, I have a special guest co-host today, Mr. Alan Snel, the Alan Snel of LVSportsBiz.com. Hey, Alan.
It's great to be here, and I'm still kind of trying to get off that high of the UFC event show from Saturday night.
Yeah, it's been almost a full week, I guess. Yeah, huge card, UFC 246. Let's go ahead and get into it. We have a very big boxing show today. We've got Franchon Cruz-Dezurn joining us, and a little bit later we have two other folks too. So let's just get to it. So we had some breaking boxing news. Jose Ramirez versus Victor Postol was actually canceled for February 1st in China. It is a top-ranked card. Bob Arum has yet to speak, but I'm suspecting it has something to do with, I think it's a coronavirus out of China. Alan, have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the public health issue about that, so I'm sure that's that's a factor in the decision.
Yeah, it's February 1st. However, we have seen UFC actually pull up stakes in Las Vegas and take their show down the road. So I don't know. What do you think the chances are of relocating that fight somewhere in the U.S.?
It's a possibility. I mean, we were talking about how UFC went from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas to the Forum in L.A. in about a week. So it's a possibility, I would think.
We're going to see. People are anticipating that title fight, but let's get into UFC 246. Conor McGregor is king of the UFC hill again. The big cash cow returns. What were some of the numbers? You remember the attendance for that fight?
Yeah, it was actually 19,040. When we were actually inside the building, I had just kind of eyeballed the crowd around 19,000, and it came in just a hair above 19,000. And the gate revenue was impressive too. I think it was more than $11 million as well. So it was a big night for UFC. And after, I thought it was hilarious that here's Conor McGregor. He really handles business in literally 40 seconds.
Good night's work if you can get it.
TKO of the Cowboy, and the entire post-match press conference was, who's Conor going to fight now? This is kind of interesting. Just how Conor McGregor has this whole new and improved, cleaned up Mr. Nice Guy kind of image now, and everyone wants a piece of the guy. I mean, it was funny. In fact, it's not just other MMA fighters. We're talking about all these potential crossover opportunities, and I thought it was interesting that Dana White was an absolute no about having Khabib fight Conor in Moscow, and when that issue was raised to Conor McGregor about would you like to fight in Moscow, he said hell yes, and like his quote said, he loves to bring spectacles to the people, and obviously a fight with Khabib in Moscow would be unbelievable. Although, listen, Dana's he calls the shots, so I don't know. But then there was the funny stuff with Mayweather. Mayweather was pointing out that he wants another McGregor Mayweather too.
Who doesn't want that paycheck, right? I mean, really, who couldn't use another 50 to 60 million, maybe 100 million that they're going to pull in?
I was really fascinated. I mean, to this day, I was so taken by McGregor's new persona. We didn't talk about this actually in our story. People should know that we collaborated on a terrific marketing story about Conor McGregor moving forward and whether the new Conor will be as financially viable as the old bad boy Conor was. And there were some really interesting anecdotes, I thought, after the fight. he went up to Cerrone. I thought he was like very, very supportive. I think he took Donald Cerrone's head in his hand, and actually, if I recall, he actually like kissed his forehead or
there was all just hugs and kisses going on.
Yeah, and that was like a Conor McGregor I've never seen before.
No.
We saw a very subdued Conor McGregor leading up to the match.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if he does get caught up in doing a crossover boxing match with Mayweather or whoever. It would be interesting to see if he does go back to the kind of lunatic, crazy man, flying off the wall, Tasmanian devil personality we've seen, especially leading up to the first Mayweather fight.
Yeah, and all of the behavior, the misogynistic behavior, and all the other nonsense that went along with it. They don't necessarily have to do that this time, so we'll see if Conor has matured also as a professional.
It's just as a human being, correct?
Yeah. And not just if it's Mayweather, but if it's anybody else. But the only caveat here is what happens with Khabib. They generally dislike each other. The both of them.
Well, moving on to the MMA side, the UFC side, it's interesting that, Conor McGregor is just this amazing drawing power. Yeah. He's a financial magnet for UFC. But they have a really interesting fight, in that class. The Khabib versus Tony Ferguson.
It's a real one.
That's a big-time major league battle. Both are very, very talented. I mean, as Dana White mentioned, it's hard to be undefeated in UFC. Khabib is undefeated. Yeah. Tony Ferguson is an absolute wild man in the cage.
He is a wrecking ball.
Yes, and you have very contrasting styles. I think it would be fascinating to see this very acrobatic, very physical, very athletic Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, who just grinds you down. I mean, he just simply grinds you into pulp. So, two fascinating styles, and it'll be interesting to see who McGregor wants. I think, does he want the belt and does he want Khabib? But what if?
Or does he want the money?
Right. Or, what happens if Ferguson wins? Right. Does he still want to face Khabib, or is he willing to bypass Khabib and go for the Ferguson fight with a belt? But as Dana White mentioned, the guy is a master matchmaker. He has such a great understanding of what the public wants, and in his mind, he thinks the public wants Conor versus Khabib.
And I think he's right. But that's a really good point. Is does Conor want that belt more than he wants a win against Khabib? So. Neither of those things are guaranteed. You're gonna have to fight to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, and then you had on the McGregor fight with 40 seconds, very dramatic. People were going nuts, and then you had the boos and the upset people with the Holly Holm fight, which was kind of like the fight right before McGregor, and we saw Dana White extremely upset in the post-fight interview.
He was not happy
he
with those
was
refs.
Absolutely trash-talking the referee, and he was really upset with the refereeing allowing Holly Holm and her opponent to basically be in a clinch for, what would you say, 70% of the fight?
Yeah, it was terrible. But I think with any fighter, you want to take on the least amount of damage as possible. So, and given the amount of damage that Holly has endured in her past couple of fights, I can understand that. But the refs need to be advancing, making sure that the fighters are advancing the position, and that did not happen. Although, you know what, Holly gets a win. Maybe it's the last time we see her. There was nothing she did in there on Saturday night that displayed that she has earned another shot at Amanda Nunes. I think you have the same result in there. A lot of other women lined up who could probably give Amanda a better. Franchon Cruz-Dezurn. Franchon, of course, is the former two-belt unified female super middleweight champion. Has some interesting things that had happened in and after that fight. Can't wait to find out.
That sounds like it was quite an entertaining battle.
Yeah, it was. It was fireworks. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi there, Franchon. You're on Levels podcast here with Cassandra Cousineau, your girl, the Sportsnista, and with our special co-host guest, Alan Snel of LV Sports Biz. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing amazing.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. So, of course, Franchon Cruz is former unified female super middleweight champ out of Baltimore, but I believe you were born in Virginia, weren't you?
Yes.
So
And I
kind of close.
migrated up here.
They call it the DMV, right?
DMV area, DC, DC, Maryland, Virginia.
So I'm going to start with the most recent, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper. Our time is short here tonight, and you got things to do. So, we last saw you in the ring with Alejandra Jimenez, and unfortunately, things did not go your way. There's kind of a lot of talk about what happened in that ring and what happened post fight. So the biggest thing that happened outside of losing the belts, you lost some hair in there, but you've turned that into an opportunity for you. So go ahead and tell me how have you been dealing with the loss? And it's been said that sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And what did you learn as a result of not getting the belts back?
Well, I've always tried to focus on being a better version of myself. And leading into the fight, if people follow my social media, you would see how I kept referencing the Black Phoenix. And if you know about the Phoenix, it's a mystical bird that rises from the ashes. You know, my other fight, I said I'll stand in hell and make heaven. So, when you got to reach the final part of your evolution, you have to get outside your comfort zone. And I've been craving change for a long time, and fortunately, but unfortunately, the universe forced it on me. I'm the heavy hitting diva, and that's part of being a diva. It's hair laid, clothes fly,
Mm-hmm.
But when my hair came off in front of the whole world, I had no choice but to decide that I want to succumb to being what people wanted me to be, or who I thought I was, or just step out to who I truly was. And I decided I didn't care about the hair. I wanted the belts. I wanted my gold. So it was a traumatic moment, but it was an empowering moment for me.
Did you realize it was such
so
a
I
big
came
moment?
out with my own shirt. Yeah, I mean, you only get a minute in between the reps, but it seemed like an hour. So much happened in that corner for that minute. And it was big, but once I snapped in, you could literally see the transformation mentally, how you focus, and you're like, you know what, nah, I'm not going out like that. And I just focused, and it was, after I run it back and people just blew it up, I went viral. I was like, oh, wow, this was a iconic moment.
So it definitely went viral, and I did see that Snoop Dogg actually had taken a clip of it and put it on his Instagram, and it was not flattering. What did you think of when you saw that he had reposted and what he said?
I had a conversation with my husband and my team, and you got to take the good with the bad, but I just was highly offended, one, being a woman of color, and two, him having daughters and a wife that he's been with so long, and he called it beat the wig off that hoe, and I'm like, bro, you don't have to know me, but know your facts. I'm more than a hoe, and I was in there fighting for my life.
Right.
So it is kind of for somebody our generation and a lot of people looked up to. Wow, you're like a 60-year-old guy, and you're talking like that.
Yeah, I mean, and just so you know, and actually this is the first time I've said this publicly, I actually sent Snoop a message. I mean, he doesn't know me, I don't know him. And I did say, if you could find it in your heart to take a look at who Franchon is and what she means to women's boxing and what she stood for in women's sports and for her community, that I think he would be pleased and honored to actually know you. And I know that it was funny what he posted, and it was just, he posts a lot of funny stuff. He's a funny guy. He's an entertainer. But you weren't the one that he should be making an example of in that moment.
You know what? It's okay, because I saw so many people say some great things about me, and that gave me the strength to be like, you know what? You keep doing what you're doing, Franchon. People see, and you can't change people from who they are. If they know better, they do better, no matter how old they are. But I appreciate it.
Definitely. So you've been boxing since you were 15, but you didn't start boxing because you wanted to be a boxer. What was the reason why you
No,
started training as a boxer?
I just started boxing because I wanted to be a singer, like a famous singer. And now I'm a singer. I'm not super famous for singing, but I did accomplish those things. But I just wanted to be like a Destiny's Child,
Mm.
Brandy, Aaliyah type girl.
So you did it for the workout, getting that booty in
Yes.
shape. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, but the thing was, I have all brothers, so I was always a
Ah.
fighter. Like I used to get in trouble in school for fighting, so fighting is not new to me. Even though I'm 7-1 in the pros, I'm probably like 80-3 on the street. You know.
I believe it. I believe it. Your husband is also a pro fighter too, right? Y'all gonna end up on the same card at some point?
That's my goal. That's one of the goals that I'm trying to manifest for 2020. And I've had some great reception, some great feedback from it. A lot of people are interested in it. I even had like Bernard Hopkins. He's like, "Wow, I've never seen that." So that's something that can definitely happen in 2020.
Always thinking about the business, right? So you turned I kind of
Yes,
your your misfortune into now your mission, right? You've got some new business opportunities as a result of
yes,
what happened in the fight.
yes. Like I said, that was a moment of clarity for me, and it was like fight or flight mode. And I could have been like, "Oh my God, my hair is too much," and I was in a rough fight, so I had to really follow through with it. And I said I wanted. My coach was like, "Do you want the belt or do you want the hair?" And I was like, "F that hair, I want the belt." And when I looked back at it, I was like, "You know what? It's been plenty of times I said F that hair before my wig fell off in a fight." And I said, other people should F that hair and go for the belt. Because in life, we get so discouraged by little things, minor things like a wig, or we get discouraged by bigger things like someone telling us no, and we turn away from our goals, which are the belt. So my new mission is just to tell people to F that hair, F whatever's holding you back, F whatever discouraging you, and go for your goals, which are the belt.
Sean, this is Alan with LVSportsBiz.com. I cover the business of sports here in Las Vegas, and I got to tell you, I was really
Okay.
impressed with how you embraced the whole situation, and I was kind of curious, what was how did you, from a business strategy standpoint, how did you actually get the T-shirt developed? Who was the artist? And can people actually buy the T-shirt right now?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm a businesswoman. First, I had to, go on through the process of securing my slogan, and I actually just whipped up the shirts. I created the design. I created the little logo, the
Well,
little
you
face
did.
of
So
me
you
on
did
it.
all.
Everything I've done myself.
That's fantastic. You did all that stuff, and then you created the design, and you sent it to a T-shirt maker.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
I just was received so well from like the fans, and it was people who were joking me at first, and they were like, "You know what? No, you're like all that, so I want to support you." So I have another batch coming out and another different style, and hey, F that hair, I want the belt.
How much does it
Yeah.
retail for? How much does the shirt sell for?
Well, the prototypes which I sent out is 25, but the next batch is probably going to be 30, like $30.
And how popular? How many have you sold so far?
I'm sold out the first. I have like 2 shirts left, and that's like
Good for you.
I made about 30 shirts,
Good
so
for you.
I'm about sold out.
Well, if you got a small left, I'm gonna pay for a shirt
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
franchise.
I'm
I
gonna
ain't
have
asked
a
for no
new
free
batch.
shirt.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I'm always for the people too. So I told people, tell me the colors you like. But you know me, I have a good eye. You're a sportsanista. I'm a fashionista, and
Hey,
you're fly too. So it's
thank you.
it's gonna be hot. The stuff I put out's gonna be hot.
Hey, good for you. Really proud that you were able to turn that misfortune into something that was positive. Not surprised. Before we wrap up tonight with you, What's next for you in the ring? Are you taking some time to reevaluate, and when can we see you back?
No, I want to smoke, but people, I'm very, I'm very experienced in boxing, and everybody's like, that's a war I was in, but I still want to guard. I'm a young champion. People forget that I'm a young champion. It's like, even Clarissa, she's a young champion, and this is giftedness. So what I'm going to do is, take another fight, probably around April, because I'm hot. This is what I love to do, and I'm built for it. Honestly, I wanted to go into a rematch, like straight up. But I said, you know what? Let's just take it, just work on a few things. I'll be back in April, and then third quarter, we're going to go hard. Go hard. It's a big thing. I know I didn't get the decision, but, I won a lot of things, so.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get the decision this time, but that's the whole thing. It's about the journey, and good luck to you. The rest of the way, let folks know where they can find you.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at THEHHDIVA, the HH Diva, and on Facebook it's for Sean Cruz Dezern, the Heavy Hit Diva.
Appreciate you, gal. Good luck. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Good luck with that second batch of T-shirts.
But Franchon Cruz Dezern, just a champ in and outside of the ring. Today's show brought to you by Mossberg Injury Lawyers. From accidents, injuries, workers' comp, and even wrongful death, Mossberg Injury Lawyers are the #1 legal team in Nevada. Call them 702-222-4555. Let them represent you. Cool stuff from her. It was, as a woman, I cannot imagine how embarrassing that was for her to have her hair coming apart in the middle of what was probably the biggest fight for her of the year. She did fight Claressa Shields on Claressa's first professional fight. Of course, Claressa won that. But, we were talking earlier about Conor McGregor and about everybody wanting to fight Conor, including crossovers. Looks like Claressa Shields wants to fight Amanda Nunes, and then she went into calling out Layla Ali. Do you think that's good for boxing business for Claressa to fight Layla?
Well, I mean, I think it would. I think it would create a buzz.
Yeah.
The fighters have to kind of be true themselves. I think we saw that with Amanda when Clarissa called out Amanda.
She went with it.
It kind of had no legs because Amanda is just she's not into the circus. She's not into all the shenanigans you engage in. As far as the promotional process is concerned, and she's a purist. She is a pure fighter, and it was kind of a non-starter. To me, in this case, I have no problem if both parties are into it and they're into being genuine with having a authentic fight. I don't see anything wrong with it. Was Claressa the woman who you met when we actually entered the arena?
Yeah,
I think
we were walking into UFC.
She was in a white dress, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, Claressa Shields is.
If I recall, I think I snapped a pretty good photo of you with her.
You did. I have to post that photo. Definitely.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened to it.
You did. There was so much content that I had to get through. I want to give Claressa her proper shine.
Give her her own day.
Quan thinks that I'm picky with photographers. I got to go through the photos and I have somebody else do it.
You finally posted one of mine.
I did. But yeah, it's true. It's true. But no, that was a good shot.
Well, we have a shot of you and Claressa now, don't we?
It's going up tomorrow. I promise it'll go up tomorrow. I'll tag all of you. But I think that I would prefer Claressa to fight Layla Ali, even though Layla's 42 years old and would be coming out of retirement. That makes more sense than Claressa Shields to learn jiu-jitsu to fight perhaps the best female martial artist in the world.
Yeah, I don't think that would. I mean, if they're fighting at the MMA level, it's not going to be competitive. And I got news for you. Amanda is such a gifted athlete, and she's such a strong striker. That's the thing about Amanda Nunes. She is, I think, the greatest all-around woman fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talks about Ronda Rousey, but Ronda, to me, was kind of a one-trick pony.
She was definitely one-dimensional.
She just had the armbar thing going, and when she tried to be an upright striker, she just got plowed. I mean, Holly Holm knocked her out. Amanda, wiped her out. And I don't think it would be much of a competitive match with Clarissa versus Amanda. I think that's kind of silly.
Not in MMA, no sir.
But I think versus Ali, I think that could create some buzz, and I think it's the kind of fight that might actually you might make some entry into the more casual mainstream sports fan
because of the name value that Layla has.
Right.
Let's go ahead and get Omar Juarez on the line. If we could, we're running a little bit behind today, but we're right on time. And it rings.
Hello.
Hey there, Omar Juarez on the line, unbeaten super lightweight prospect. You're on with the Sportsnista, Cassandra Cousineau, and Alan Snel of lvsportsbiz.com. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really good. Doing really good.
That was a whole lot. I know you picked up the phone. You're like, she's talking already.
We just dive right into the action here.
We're running behind, and I'm having my, what is this? This is called OMG. It's apple, lemon, and extra ginger juice. So I'm extra right now. So
that's fine.
Omar, you are from Brownsville, Texas, and you're trained by your father. Is that correct?
Yes, and also I trained in Brownsville for 1 month of camp, and the last month I'll train in San Antonio with my trainer Rick Nunez.
So you listening to Omar, and he sounds already like he's got the voice to carry a radio show. And when you look at this kid, I mean, he's got the face for TV. Can you do me a favor, Omar, and turn down whatever it is that you got listening? I got a whole bunch of feedback there. Thank you. Cool stuff. So the first time you fought in Vegas, you were on that Wilder Ortiz undercard on FS2. What was that like for you fighting out of Las Vegas?
It was a beautiful feeling. It was very surreal. I mean, I remember telling myself when I was smaller, one day I'm going to fight at MGM Grand. I didn't think it was going to be my sixth fight. It was crazy. It was all so fast, but it was a beautiful feeling, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it, and I'm not stopping to settle. I'm just continuing to adapt every fight, climb that ladder of success, and just continue to work hard every fight.
Now, you graduated, if I'm correct, you graduated high school at 16 because you took a whole bunch of AP classes, smarty pants. Like, how is the smart kid also the tough kid? That's what I want to know.
I wouldn't call myself smart. It's just,
I am.
I looked at it this way. I looked at it this way. I've been doing this. I've been working on my future ever since I was 8 years old. I knew what I wanted. I just went to go chase it. And personally, I thought, education is always going to be there. Of course, I need to complete my education to have a plan B and everything. Let me get the education out of the way as fast.
Interesting.
What do you, are you able to use any of that right now in your training, what you're learning?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's helped me. I've been dieting the correct way all my professional career. I've been a professional for about a year and a half, and I've had no struggle with weight whatsoever. I'm just getting more and more experience as time goes on.
Omar, this is Alan with lvsportsbiz.com, and I just wanted to talk to you from the business side of things. We cover the business of sports in Las Vegas. Talk to me about what was the business relationship with Mayweather Promotions, and how did you get hooked up with those guys?
Well, with Mayweather Promotions, I'm not really associated with. I'm more with the PBC and Al Heyman part. That's who I'm signed with.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that going so far?
But good, really good. Al Heyman, it's a blessing. It's a really, really blessing to be signed with one of the biggest boxing promotion companies in the world, and God has answered my prayers through him. I mean, I've worked so much. I've worked so hard. I've dedicated my whole life to the sport. I've sacrificed everything, and slowly, my prayers are being answered, and I'm just continuing to work hard.
Everybody has such nice things to say about Al Heyman. The fighters do anyway. Why do you think that is? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really at the level. I've seen it. I've also seen it on social media. Everybody, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, a lot of fighters from PBC say that Al Heyman's a blessing, and
and boxing and the business side and everything. I mean, I don't know yet. Once I get to that level, I'll be able to tell you. But right now, it's just she's taking care of me, building me up slowly, making me into a prospect, eventually a contender, then world champion. And I'm pretty sure I'll get the hang of everything later on. But I mean, I only have 6 fights right now, so not really sure.
Well, they're doing something right because you've been quite successful so far. But I want to go back to the fact that you are studying nutrition. And I got to ask this question for producer Quan here. What do you think about athletes, especially boxers, being vegan or vegetarian?
I've had a lot of people ask me that as well, and personally, I can't do that. I don't know. I don't know how they where they get their protein from. Yeah, they very, very hard. I guess very, very expensive. I mean, I just follow a specific diet. That's it. But as far as fighters being vegan or vegetarian, I mean that's on them. I mean, I can't do that.
You're like, give me my steak.
I'm a strong believer in. Yeah, it's I don't like going to restaurants and asking for special foods and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just chicken and fish. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. What's the meal you miss the most when you're training?
Man, well, down there in the valley we're real big on tacos. I love tacos, man. And I can't have any of that during camp. And I mean, I'm not so much of a person that likes to cheat on when I'm dieting.
Mm-hmm.
When I take my week off of fighting and everything, I have what I want, and after that, I'm good. I don't want anything anymore.
But tacos you can have healthy tacos, right?
Yeah,
what you putting in your tacos?
But it's more like, yeah, like a taco with a lettuce wrap or something like that. I mean, you can go anyway, but the tacos I want, I mean, I can't have them.
So your next fight is February 1st versus Angel Hernandez at the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. Aren't you 20?
Yes.
So what are they just?
Yes,
well, you just
old.
can't gamble. You can go into the casino, right? You can't gamble.
Yeah, and that's what happened last fight. I couldn't do anything. I mean, as far as all that, people were asking me, how does it feel that you're going to Vegas and you can't do anything? And I told them, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just go. I'm not looking at it as a vacation. I always tell them, I go take care of business and just come back home. That's it. That's pretty much what I do every fight, no matter where it's at.
Omar, what fighter would you compare yourself to, and what kind of fighter do you admire and would you like to emulate?
Compare myself to? I really don't know. I love to hit and not get hit. I love to work the body, and I'm slowly learning that I'm starting to get a lot of power behind my punches. So I can't really compare myself to a fighter. I try to have my own little style, but a fighter I look up to a lot are two specific fighters, which are Manny Pacquiao because of how humble and religious he is and what he does for his people, and Caleb Plant. I love his style of hitting and not getting hit, his story and everything. I love those two guys. They're very, very humble, and I look up to them a lot. Hopefully I get to meet them one day.
We don't see a whole lot of humble boxers, so it's refreshing to hear, especially at your age. You have siblings?
Yes, I have an older brother, and younger sister.
So you're in the middle, kinda, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Anybody else into combat sports in your family besides you and your dad?
Yeah, my younger brother Sebastian. He's about to turn 15 in a couple of days. He's ranked number 1 in the U.S. at 119 pounds.
Nice.
And I'm basically opening the doors for him. He's following my footsteps, but I tell him, I don't want him to be just like me. I want him to be better than me. And it's looking that way. I mean, I'm starting to spar him, and it's crazy that the skills. He practically grew up in the gym, walking around in diapers, watching us hit the bags. And then one day he's like, I want to spar. He puts on the gloves, and he surprised everybody. From there, it was just, wow, this kid. I mean, my older brother boxed, but now he stuck to his dream, which is football. So then I followed my brothers, and then my little brother was just watching all that. So he just picked up on everything, and he's going to be something else. He really is.
Omar, we just talked with a boxer who said that she really enjoyed boxing and did quite a bit of fighting in school and was like 80-0 in school, whatever her record was.
80 and 3's French on cruise dessert. Yeah.
And I was wondering, what's your backstory in terms of how you got into fighting, and Did you have any rough fisticuffs in the school setting?
Okay, well, no. It's a long story, but long story short, I was 8 years old, kid that did not like to fight, did not like to play sports. I didn't like video games. I didn't like anything. I just like to go outside and be myself, do whatever I wanted to do. One day, my dad is a huge fan of boxing. I mean, that's all he ever talked about. He put us in, my older brother and I. I was 8 years old. He was 10. We started it. Of course, not everybody falls in love with the sport immediately. I mean, I've suffered a lot of beatings, but eventually my brother left. I stayed in the sport because I felt like I could do something in it. I love what it taught. My life slowly changed in a positive way. I looked at everything differently. And as far as fighting in school, I didn't want anybody to know I was a boxer because I knew what it would cause. It could cause trouble. Something would happen. But eventually people found out.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone, I guess,
people
thinks
found out. But eventually, yeah.
when they did find out,
social media, people found out. And, I just kept quiet with it. I kept to myself, worked on my own future, didn't tell anybody I was in boxing. I would go through tournaments, come back during school. I mean, I would do everything. Nobody knew I was working on my future. Once I left my junior year, I got signed and everything. People started saying, "Oh, congratulations! I didn't know you boxed and everything." And I told them I've been boxing since I was 8 years old. It's just I didn't like to tell anybody. And as far as fighting in school, man, personally, I think I'm the nicest person outside of the ring. But I don't like hurting people. I don't. I really don't.
But you will.
I mean, I just happen to be good at it. And the way I look at it is, okay, I don't like hurting people, but the person in front of me is in the ring that he's trying to take my dream away from me. So there's a little switch that flips up, and I take care of business outside of the ring. You know, we could be friends or whatever, but inside the ring, I'm a whole different person, and I'm using this platform to help people around the world eventually, motivating students, motivating a lot of people, and trying to make a difference in the sport.
Well, we don't want anybody to take away your dreams. So, again, you are fighting on February 1st. It's the UGAS, right? Undercard?
Yes.
Fight on the UGAS undercard. Is that still FS2?
FS1, I believe.
FS1. And out of Beau Rivage, Biloxi, Mississippi. Hey, good luck to you. We're going to want to talk to you again when we got a little bit more time.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's a blessing. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Wait, well, real quick, tell people where they can find you. What are your social handles?
On Facebook, Omar El Relámpago Juárez, my Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter at I am Omar Juárez.
Good luck to you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
We're going to take just a 15-second break real quick to set up.
Broadcasting live from downtown Las Vegas, you're tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
This is your guy, Dre Bailey.
And your man, Goose Thomas.
Tune in to Let the Ball Bounce on Gorilla Cross Radio.
Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Coast Time.
And every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Coast Time. Your guy, Dre Bailey.
And your man, Goose Thomas.
And if you're scared,
you better go to church.
Yo, you tuned in to Gorilla Cross Radio.
And we are back. Levels Combat Sports Podcast here on Gorilla Cross. Gorilla Cross Radio. See that ginger boy?
Need some water?
It's so good though. Like if I could eat it with a spoon, I would. It's really that good.
You might need some carne asada.
Need no carne asada. Carne are crazy. So we are setting up now to have our last phone call. Do we have him online? Hey there, we have Austin Dulay, Nashville native, signed to Al Hammond and PBC. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. So you are 2 hours ahead of us. Where are you?
In Nashville.
He's in Nashville.
It's 9 o'clock here.
So it's not too late.
You know, Nashville and Las Vegas are kind of like sister cities now. Very, very
Oh
similar,
yeah,
very entertainment, sports related. Nashville had the NFL draft last year. Las Vegas is hosting the NFL draft in 3 months here. And you got hockey, we have hockey. And talk a little about the boxing scene there. Because as you know, Las Vegas is the boxing capital of the USA.
Hotbed.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so it hasn't been too crazy here lately. Caleb and I have, since amateurs, have always talked about bringing it back. So that's the game plan. Back in the day, it used to be really popular here in Nashville, so we just got to get it back.
So you are actually fighting on the Caleb Plant undercard on the day after Valentine's. When's Valentine's Day? The 14th, I guess. The day after Valentine's Day on
Yeah.
February 15th. You open up PBC Fight Night on that undercard. You got a tough match, man, against Diego Magdalena. What do you think about that matchup?
Oh yeah, he's a veteran. I know he's going to come ready and prepared, and so we've been training for the best Diego that has been seen. So we're expecting the best from him, so we train for the best. We're excited. We're excited to be fighting here in our hometown in front of all of our people, and we're looking forward to putting on a show.
You mentioned Caleb Plant. How long have you guys known each other, and how long you've been looking forward to this type of card?
We've known each other since before Caleb and I started amateur fighting. I was 11, I think, or so when I met Caleb. We fought all the way through amateurs together. We used to train together here in Nashville. Yeah, so we've known each other for a very long time. And as far as the card, and we've been talking about this opportunity and making this happen since before I can even remember. So having the opportunity and Luis the Cubist and Al making it happen, PBC and Fox, it's just a blessing.
You're 13-1 as a pro, but you've had a ton of amateur fights, right? What's your amateur record?
Yeah, I was 126-11 as an amateur.
That's a lot of fights, my man.
Yeah.
Does that count any? What about does that count any of the schoolyard scraps?
No, those aren't accounted for.
Oh, okay.
we can't keep tallies on those ones.
Because we know people have tried it. As soon as they find out that you got hands, they want to see if you let them go.
Yeah. For sure.
So you're fighting in
But yeah, no. Go ahead, sorry.
You're fighting in a loaded 140 division. Jose Ramirez is in there. His fight actually in China was just canceled in China. And then you got Regis in that division as well. Where do you see yourself right now and kind of what your trajectory looks like?
We're actually at 135 for right now. There's been talks about going up to 140. This one's actually set for 135. I make 135 pretty comfortably, so we figured we stay here and try to get a title shot at 135.
Who's in your way?
Yeah, I feel at 135.
Yeah, who's in your way?
Teofimo, obviously he's the top of the 135. Lomachenko's top of 135. Tank, I don't know if he's coming up to 135 to stay here or if it's just a temporary thing. Mm-hmm. He's been saying back and forth between 30 and 35. But not necessarily in my way, but any of them will definitely, I get in the ring with any of them. Just as long as everything's setting the right way and Al says it's a go, then it's a go for us. We won't turn anything down.
He's on what they call the other side of the street. He hasn't been in the ring in a while, but I don't think that he is retired. Raimundo Beltran, actually. For some reason, I see like your styles making a really good fight. Look at me.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he's a veteran for sure. I've watched him for a while. We actually, one of my first PBC cards in Tunica, Mississippi, me and him fought on the same card, and it was cool to meet him back then. I think I had 6 pro fights at the time.
So do you have any distractions out there? You're fighting in your backyard. Do you prefer to fight at home now that you're getting this experience?
Oh yeah, no distractions really. I'm a laid back guy, family man. When I'm not training and I'm not running, I'm here with my daughter and my fiance and just relaxing, making sure we're staying on top of everything as far as nutrition, run programs, like all that. Just that comes first, and it's just a known understanding within within this house. That has to be when it's time to train, it's time to train, and then everything else.
How old is your daughter?
But yeah, no distraction. She's 3.
Oh, goodness. Well,
Yeah, she's awesome.
it might be easier for you to train in the boxing ring than for you to chase that little girl around in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
If you could choose a city to fight, what's the choice city? What's in your mind? What's the best city to have a big time fight?
Oh man, it's got to be the hometown. I mean, I haven't had I got fought in like a lower late stage fight here in town. Also my last fight was at the MGM Grand. So I mean, comparison, the MGM Grand was amazing in Vegas, but I just truly feel like getting a big show like on the 15th in Nashville is gonna feel that much better. Like it has to.
What are you shooting for? Bridgestone Arena?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the
Awesome.
15th is.
Well,
Yes,
you keep going at the rate that you're going, it definitely can happen. Austin Dulé again signed to PBC, opens the PBC Fight Night on 2/15 on the Caleb Plant undercard there in Nashville. Tell folks real quick where they can find you.
On Instagram, AD_the dream_. I haven't got all the other social medias up. I'm not a big social media guy, but they say I have to do it.
Look, they can find you on TV.
So we're trying to get the Instagram up.
Hey, good luck to you, Austin. The rest of the way we'll be
Yes, sir.
watching in February.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Yep, best of luck, man.
Thank you.
Cool. What a show. Ooh, that was jam-packed. We got just a couple more minutes here to wrap up. We want to go back to UFC 246. So everybody wants McGregor. So we talked with a handful of boxers tonight. We had Austin Dulé, Omar Juarez, and of course opened up with Franchon Cruz Dezern. Claressa Shields has talked about fighting Amanda Nunes, and now today we find out that Bob Arum, the founder and head honcho over at Top Rank, is offering up his biggest prize in Terrence Crawford to fight, guess who? Conor McGregor. Why is this happening? Why do we keep getting all of these boxers?
The amount of money is just so dangling, that kind of revenue is just just too much for to avoid. And I just go back to 2017 and the buildup between McGregor and Mayweather and how disappointing the actual, from a pure combat boxing standpoint. I mean, I hate to say it, look, I'm not a technical boxing expert, but even to a layperson as myself, a casual fan, it was a joke of a spectacle.
Yeah.
And Mayweather basically polished him off whenever he wanted to, and I think all this crossover stuff makes good. But the bottom line is, I think people love sports because there's a sense of integrity to it, and people don't like this. I mean, you have professional wrestling. If you want that kind of scripted entertainment, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's already out there, and people. I mean, that's why people go nuts about any kind of sense that a fight or a basketball game or an NFL game or a baseball game might be fixed in some way. And personally, I'd love to see McGregor fight Khabib versus one of these goofball one-off crossover kind of events with a boxer
fight instead of a spectacle. The only person not calling out Conor McGregor right now is Chris Cyborg Justino, who is fighting in Bellator 238 this Saturday.
Right, she's not on Dana White's high on his list.
He perhaps enjoys her less than he does these referees. So,
and if I recall, I believe Amanda took care of Cyborg too.
Sure did.
And
it was her last contracted fight in the UFC, actually.
That's correct.
Rapport. So now maybe they do. Maybe they do. Because at one point, Cyborg was campaigning to fight Cecilia Brækhus, who is actually known to be like pound for pound one of the best ever in boxing. So it is possible that we could see Claressa and Cyborg, but I would like to see everybody in their respective octagons or in the rings. So with that, thank you so much to Alan Snel, lvsportsbiz.com. Let folks know where they can find you and what's up on the site right now.
Yeah, check out lvsportsbiz.com, where business meets sports in Las Vegas. It's been all NFL Raiders football this week. There have been 3 very, very busy days. Tuesday, the NFL came to the Clark County Commission and talked about the gigantic draft event that's going to be in town April 23rd to 25th. They're saying 750,000 people are coming to Las Vegas to watch the draft, which is incredible. Then yesterday was the big Las Vegas Raiders announcement, and for the first time we actually saw the title of the team, Las Vegas Raiders, out there in public, officially declared not only by Mark Davis, the owner, but no one lower than the very governor of the state, Steve Sisolak, who is a huge Raiders fan. When I talked with Steve yesterday after the declaration, I was laughing because I remember him 3 years ago when he was throwing. At the time, he was the Clark County Commission chairman, and he's throwing Nerf footballs into the crowd of a stadium authority board meeting where construction workers were packed in the audience, and there was a big hoopla yesterday. And then today I was over at Mandalay Bay, where MGM Resorts International, the biggest owner of the hotels on the Strip, they cut a very logical no-brainer deal with the Raiders as the official gaming partner of the Raiders. The MGM Resorts have backed the Raider Stadium for really from the get-go, and it's a very logical marriage of business interests. So it's those stories, and I just want to just put a little tease out there. We're just going to have yet another interesting Raider Stadium story with an interesting angle to it. That'll be published midday tomorrow. Check out lvsportsbiz.com.
Good stuff. Thank you for coming next week. Jeremy Long, I have his tail back, and we're going to go back into boxing and MMA because that's what we do here on Levels. See you next Thursday.